Today we are going to be talking about games, and can they make you reflective of your own life? The answer, yes, no question about it. But I'd like to go a little bit more into depth on that. Death Stranding, I think, is a great example because not only is it a game that can impact you, but it gives us a really good template for how a game can quickly make you acceptable to being impacted. I'd like to introduce to you the cone method, the thing that brings everything down to one point, and then that's when it happens. You are now susceptible to being impacted. Let's look at the game from the very, very beginning. The game starts off with outrunning a rainstorm. We quickly learn that anything that touches this rainstorm seems to age very quickly and then die. Obviously, Sam wants to get away from that. He finds a cave to hole up in, but a Polaroid catches his eye. He reaches out to get it, and then a rash suddenly begins to appear on his arm. Now these oily handprints are appearing in the ground. Now this girl shows up and is saying, "Be quiet." What the heck is going on? Death Stranding introduces all these concepts. This weird aging rain, this rash that Sam seems to get right before these things show up in the ground. The game asks questions. We then are briefly given control of the character. We go to Fort Knox to deliver these packages. We are then greeted by this girl who tells us,
"What took you so long? It's not like the legend to come in late."
And now all of a sudden we have this very important delivery we have to take care of. Now let's pause what's going on real quick. Who is our protagonist? Sam is a porter. He's highly valued for transporting objects across life-threatening terrain. He has no affiliation with Bridges or Fragile, two of the other main transporting services. In summary, Sam likes to be alone, and from what everyone says, he's very good at his job. Now let's move on. This man shows up and says he's from Bridges.
Sam Porter, I presume? Right, not the touchy-feely type. Documents said you had some kind of phobia.
They have a body that they need to burn. Why can't you burn it right here?
Put all that chiralium in the air so close to town?
Better that than trying for the incinerator.
They have to cut through a lot of BTs to get to the incinerator, though, due to a lack of time. Because they don't want to be caught by the BTs, it would be helpful to be able to detect them. Sam, somebody who has the ability to detect them, as we could tell by his rash earlier in the game, is someone who Bridges really wants to use in this situation. So now you've got Sam tied up with these dudes going on a mission that probably won't end very well, and surprise, surprise, it doesn't. The BTs come, they tip the truck, the body explodes, and everybody dies. Sam then wakes up in a hospital bed, handcuffed. Then a doctor shows up and tells him,
"Don't worry, I'm a doctor."
"Oh no, you're not handcuffed. That's a helpful tool.
They're cutting-edge devices that keep us all connected.
And oh, by the way, we took some blood samples from you. And oh, by the way, we can monitor you at all times through that thing we attached to your wrist without asking you."
I can assure you it's for your own protection.
He then asks Sam to bring the president morphine. Why? Why can't the doctor just do that? Sam asks this himself, and the doctor admits.
Why don't you do it? Because I'm not really here.
This is something the doctor could have admitted, but he purposely lied about. I say that he lied about it because he does a hand motion to unlock the handcuffs that clearly was unnecessary if he wasn't there, and he offers to shake Sam's hand when he wakes, something he couldn't have actually had done, but knowing Sam has a phobia of touch, he did it anyway to sell the appearance that he was there.
It's for your own protection.
Clearly there's something more happening here that they aren't telling Sam, and now they're asking him to do a favor. We then meet the president. She's like, "Hey, help me reconnect America."
You can help us reconnect.
And we're like, "No." But she enters us into a contract anyway by doing some fancy shenanigans with her hand right before she dies. What a jerk. Now we have to carry her body off to some far out place to get burned in order to avoid an explosion like what happened earlier. All this chaos is happening. and it is completely outside of Sam's control. So we stick this body on our back and we hike it to the nearest incinerary, but we got a little bit more time, not too much of a hurry. Ever since I started the game till we got to this point, everything has been chaotic. We got all these questions, then we were hit with some manipulation, some lies, some contracts, and now we're finally setting off into this world, delivering packages, the thing that we know how to do. At this point, everything zooms out. Bones by Low Roar starts to play, and we get our first breath of fresh air.
It's clear to me there's something that's uncomforting. Your body is away with me, but I'm exactly where I wanna be. But I'm a long way from home.
This is the middle of the cone. All this chaos is happening in Sam's life. But when that camera zoomed out and that music started to play, I noticed the rocks are so beautiful. The river is so perfect. I never would have put so much thought into the small, beautiful details of life if I didn't have all that chaos first. So now that brings me back to the cone. We know a little bit about Sam. Nobody trusts anybody. In this moment, I could relate with Sam. Everything in my own life often feels like chaos. I may not be the best person. I like to be alone all the time. Sam may not be the best person. He likes to be alone all the time. This relatability of chaos happening around us, yet we desire those small moments of peace, is what made me connect with Sam. And that leads me to the next point. What happens after the cone? Death Stranding introduces the bench. Has life ever been so chaotic for you, so crazy, so ununderstandable that you just go for a walk, you see a bench, and you're just like, you know what, screw it, I'm gonna sit on that bench. When you sit down on that bench and you slow down, you start to notice that the pavement of the sidewalk has these little cracks in it. The wood on the bench is starting to splinter. Look a little bit down and to your left, do you see that over there? All those little ants are working so hard. Isn't that crazy? Death Stranding at times is a very frustrating game to play, but in those moments of peace, it shows you the little things that are worth looking for. Almost every time I play this game, I am grateful for it because it gives me perspective, and I like that.
Don't give up on me. Give up on me.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Nathan, and I will hopefully see you next time. Until then, stay safe, be good, look at the little things in life, sit down on that bench.